Good day everyone, my name is John Hasmin Cui, lead HE third year students, and today I am going to discuss what is portfolio assessment. When we say portfolio assessment is an evaluation tool used to document students' learning through a series of student develop. Considered as form of authentic assessment, it offers an alternative or an addition to traditional methods of grading high-stakes exam. Portfolio assessments gives both teachers and students a controlled space to document, review, and analyze content learning. In short, portfolio are a collection of student work that allow assessment by providing evidence of effort and accomplishments in relation to the specific instructional goals. At its best, portfolio assessment demands the following clarity of goals, explicit criteria for evaluation, work samples tied to those goals, students' participation in selection of entries, teachers and students' involvement in the assessment process, and self-reflection that demonstrate students' metacognitive ability. That is, their understanding of work for them in the learning process, what did not, and why. These elements enhance the learning experience and self-understanding to the students. And we have 7 uses of portfolio. The first one is focusing instruction on performance activities. Number 2, reinforcing the point that the performance are important is called outcomes. Number 3, providing parents, students, and teachers with a perspective of student improvement. Number 4, diagnosing weaknesses. Number 5, allowing a student to revisit, reflect on and assess their work over time. Number 6, grading students. Number 7, and integrating instruction with assessment. We have 3 types of portfolio assessment. The number 1 is the documentation portfolio. This type of portfolio assessment is also known as a working portfolio. Especially, this approach involves a collection of work over time showing growth and improvement reflecting student learning of identified outcomes. The documentation portfolio can include everything from brainstorming activities to draft to finished products. The collection becomes meaningful when specific items are selected out to focus on a particular educational experiences or goals. It can include the best and weakest of a student work. The second one is the process portfolio. This approach documents all facts or phases of the learning process. They are particularly useful in documenting students' overall learning process. It can show how students integrate specific knowledge or skills and progress towards basic and advanced mastery. The third one is showcase portfolio. These types of portfolio is best used for summative evaluation of students, very best for determined through a combination of students and teacher selection. Only completed work should be included. In addition, this type of portfolio is especially compatible with audiovisual artifact development, including photographs, videotapes, and electronic records of students' completed work. This showcase portfolio should also include the rating analysis and reflection by the students on the decision-making the process used to determine which work are included. The portfolio process of facilitating successful student portfolio can be broken into 4. The first one is collection, the second one selection, and the third one reflection, and the last is connection. When we say collection, although the first step collection is a straightforward, it is not always an easy step to facilitate successfully. It simply requires students to collect and store all their work. 3 challenges the steps are common. 1. Most students and many teachers are not accustomed to documenting and saving all class work. Number 2, there is a seldom and obvious place to put the work that is collected. Number 3, it is not always obvious how to generate artifacts from things like field trips, community service projects, jobs, and sports. The key skill in this step is to get students accustomed to collecting and documenting whenever possible. The second one is the selection. How one facilitates the second step, selection, depends on the kind portfolio process or product oriented and to what degree a teacher stipulates portfolio requirements. In these steps, students will go through the work they collected and select the artifacts for their portfolio. This may be done by the students alone, with peers, and or with the teacher. Many characteristics about the curriculum come to light in this step, particularly the nature of the work students are doing in class. For instance, if all the students have to show the quizzes and tests, the portfolio will be rendered almost meaningless by failing to shed light on anything other than students' ability. The third one is reflection. Most agree that the third step, reflection, is perhaps the most important step in portfolio process. It is what distinguishes portfolios from mere collections. Reflection is often done writing but can be done orally as well. Particularly with younger children, students are asked to explain why they choose particular artifact or how it compares with other artifacts, what particular skills and knowledge were used to produce it, and where he or she can improve as a learner. The importance of this step lies in having the student takes an active role in the assessment process. Students can observe more directly the quality of their own achievement and internalize more clearly where improvements are needed. The last one is the connection. Has two related facets. The first is direct result of that reflection process. Upon reflecting on their own achievement and identifying and the skills of knowledge that applied in producing the artifact, students can answer the perennial question for themselves, why are we doing this? They are able to make more concrete connection between their schoolwork and the value of what it is they are learning. Furthermore, students may come to understand the wider curriculum more deeply. The teacher's delight or charging, depending on the teacher, students may take more achieve and inform and evaluating the effectiveness of the curriculum. And let's come now to the portfolio components. The first one is the teacher observation. These are mostly notes about the conferences with the students' notes about their journals and anecdotal records. The second one is the teacher inventories. Inventories can be used to measure students' responses to a certain task throughout the school year. For example, leading a small group of students sort shapes into a polygon. An inventory of their abilities to sort shapes explain their thinking process in writing as to why a shape is or is not a polygon. This assessment can be repeated at least twice in the future and compare the results. The third one is the student's record. Each student keeps a journal about work that he completes. A conference time, it is the student's responsibility to go through their journals and select entries to go in their portfolios. For example, an entry that describes and or identifies quadrilaterals by their attributes, trapezoids, rectangle, rhombus, and square. The next one is the projects. Teachers and students may choose to include students' research, puppets, written biographies, dioramas, posters, and mathematics diagrams and graphs in their portfolios. For example, a research project may begin by letting the students bring all kinds of container from home. Let them label each the capacity of each container and measure one volume using first a letter then the quart as a guide. Students can also choose partner and create a poster about liquid measurement based on their investigations. The last one is the student work sample. Teacher can select sample of the students' daily work, homework, quizzes, and tests to include their portfolios assignments each week to hang up with the classroom hall and put their portfolios. That's all for today and thank you.